Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Shackle 5858. I am Amish Shackle. Following news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. A driver plows into a crowd outside a busy nightclub, dozens sent to the hospital. Millions brace for dangerous storms and flash flooding. And new details of the deadly explosion that killed 3 LA County deputies. First, the chaotic scene outside a popular East Hollywood nightclub. A gray Nissan Versa slamming into a crowd. 30 people injured, one in critical condition. Los Angeles police say it was intentional. People dragging the driver out of the car. Officers say he was beaten and then shot. First responders rushing to the scene. What we're learning tonight about the investigation. More than 58 million Americans bracing for flooding or dangerous heat. Severe storms targeting the Midwest and Northeast. Flash flooding in Virginia, triggering rescues and evacuations. Our weather team tracking it all. The law enforcement community in mourning after the death of 3 LA County deputies in an explosion. What a source described as an old military grenade being moved by the bomb squad when it detonated. The fallen deputies with 74 years of combined experience. Breaking news, the CEO at the center of that viral kiss cam moment during a Coldplay concert has resigned. What we're learning tonight. The White House facing mounting bipartisan pressure to release documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. New details about the letter the Wall Street Journal says Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein. The president calling the article false, now filing a $10 billion lawsuit. Israel and Syria agree to a ceasefire. It comes after Israel launched airstrikes and days of sectarian clashes killed hundreds. Superstar Katy Perry's mid-air scare, a prop malfunction as she dangled high above a crowd during a concert. And the WNBA All-Star Weekend. We're in Indianapolis for a preview of tonight's game and why one of the league's biggest stars won't be on the court. From ABC News World Headquarters.
Ed, Christian, and Chris, thank you guys so much for sitting down with us. And really, thank you for being willing to give us a little perspective about what it's like to be an ICE agent. I'm going to go down the line, and each of you maybe tell me about your background and why you each decided to get into federal law enforcement.
So I'm Ed Centeno. Thank you, Laura, for giving us this opportunity to actually to be here. I was born in New York. I grew up in Puerto Rico and joined the military at 19. And I crossed over 4 law enforcement agencies in 25 years in the military. And I decided to join ICE because it was a sense of serving the people and continue to serve in a capacity that I can help the community and help this nation that have given me many opportunities.
My name is Christian Moreno. I'm out of the Baltimore field office. I started out in TSA, the Transportation Security Administration, went to Customs and Border Protection down in San Ysidro, California. So just knew in ICE that they just do deportations. Little did I know all that we do every single day and how exciting this career has been so far for me.
I'm Chris Sandoval, born in El Paso, was in border towns a lot, and I have my father was in War Patrol with the Air Marshals and with ICE. So I kind of looked into getting with ICE. I have an uncle that worked with War Patrol. Really, the main thing I wanted to do was serve my country.
Let me get a sense from you all what it's like to operate as an ICE agent in this current climate, because unfortunately, it really has been pretty hostile to you guys.
I think the dynamics and environment, Laura, that we're working in is sad. What we've seen in California, Los Angeles, New York, it is, in my opinion, unacceptable. We have to do our job. We raise our hands to defend the Constitution, and we're enforcing the law. So we're adjusting as we see what's going on in our country. But it's sad in my heart, especially when you serve in combat and come back to see your country so divided.
It has been very sad to see how we're villainized, the names used towards us. I mean, just doing this right now, I mean, I have to talk to my family about it and talk to them and say, hey, this is something I believe in, something I think is important for us to get our stories out there and let the American public know we're humans. We got a job to do. We're just enforcing the law. We're not making up the law. And it's sad, but we just keep pushing through it.
Chris, were you?
Do the reason why you take a picture of someone and post it somewhere, other than to put them on blast. And I mean, it's really kind of unfair to where we're like Ed said, we're doing our job, we're serving the country. But sometimes I see, people rioting and stuff, and you're hurting your own community.
Well, Ed, you were the one, I think, among the three of you who's really probably been with ICE the longest. And it feels like half of the country, the media would have you believe, is against you guys. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, and
This Saturday night, a deadly day in Gaza. Israeli soldiers opened fire on Palestinians desperate for food. The grim reality of daily life and death in the region. A fresh appeal from Israelis to release hostages. A car plows into a crowd in Los Angeles, injuring dozens.
It appears to have been intentional.
How bystanders took matters into their own hands. Plus, Donald Trump's $10 billion lawsuit. The U.S. president's legal hit list over the Wall Street Journal's Jeffrey Epstein article. And Carnival Kids, the youngest masqueraders carrying on a colorful tradition.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Sophie Louis.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the struggle to survive in Gaza. Officials there say more than 30 Palestinians were killed after Israeli troops fired on crowds seeking food from U.S. and Israeli-run aid centers, a situation that's unfolded many times in recent months. As Mackenzie Gray reports, that's just the surface of the suffering unfolding in the enclave. A warning, some of the content in this story is disturbing.
It's now a part of daily life in Gaza. The rush to get injured children care after continued Israeli strikes. Overwhelmed hospitals resort to putting the dead children on mats on the floor. A group were taken away, held onto the back of a truck. In total, 100 people were killed on Saturday, according to the Hamas-run health agency, including 37 people near a food aid site in Rafah. They started shooting at us randomly, this man, whose relative was killed, said. We're tired. We witness death every day. This is the 10th relative I've lost from my family. This mother lost her 17-year-old daughter, who was killed after being hit by shrapnel while in the family's tent. Today was her birthday, the grieving mother said. She went all around to try and spread. Despite the UN saying 875 people have been killed near food aid sites over the past 6 weeks, food is 1 in 3 people in Gaza eating at a time. This man just killed laments that he used to weigh 120 kilograms. Now found 80. Israel, hostage is held by Hamas, made it guilty. U.S. President Donald Trump.
We are counting on you. You back hostages for peace to escape. We need your strength.
Gas fending off hunger and death. Mackenzie Gray, Global News, Ottawa.
In Los Angeles, at least 7 people are in critical condition tonight after a driver plowed into a crowd this morning. The crash after 2 a.m. outside a club in East Hollywood. Police say at least 30 people were
Africa News. The news.
It's a major breakthrough. The M23 rebel about the DRC government's engaged ceasefire.
always free, always entertaining.
Today, Tasmania's opposition leader says his party will collaborate with the crossbench, but won't make a deal with the Greens following the state's snap election.
I will have said I won't do deals with the Greens. I've been steadfast in that. I won't be changing my position.
Also ahead, a broken system calls in Victoria for greater transparency on safety issues in the childcare sector. A tech CEO caught on camera at a Coldplay concert resigns from his job. And in sport, the Wallabies fall short in Brisbane, setting up a do-or-die clash against the Lions in Melbourne next week.
I think
there are some positives for us to take away.
Hello, Alex Thomas with your latest ABC News. A very warm welcome to you. Tasmanian Labour leader Dean Winter is still refusing to concede the snap election. He's been speaking to the media this afternoon as counting in the state continues. The Liberals have won the most seats, but not enough to form a majority government. Let's get over to Hobart and speak to reporter Josh Duggan. Josh, we're wondering if Dean Winter would concede. He didn't.
Headline news this hour. 37 people killed after a tourist boat capsizes in Vietnam's Ha Long Bay. Emergency crews have been racing to find survivors. Inclement weather caused by approaching Typhoon Wipa has been blamed for the tragedy. China has raised its storm warning to the second highest level as Wipa rapidly approaches the west of Shenzhen. The storm is forecast to edge closer to the coast of Guangdong in the coming hours. Some flights and train services have been hit. Hong Kong has issued its highest storm warning signal, T10. Officials say this will remain in force for some time as hurricane-strength winds are affecting the southern part of the territory. 14 people have been killed and 12 reported missing in South Korea following days of heavy downpours, floods, and landslides. Thousands have been forced to evacuate their homes. The government forecaster says rain will likely stop later today and will be followed by a heat wave in the coming days. And voting underway in Japan's upper house election, seen as a key test for Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Opinion polls suggest the ruling coalition could lose its majority in the chamber amid dissatisfaction over rising prices and other issues.
U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff. This is one of the big issues because this tariff can really push down Japan's economic growth. Now, regardless of the results of this upper house election, Minister of Economic Revitalization, Ryosei Akazawa, announced Saturday that he plans to prepare for a trip to Washington this coming week and negotiate with his trade partner.
And that's the latest from the CNA Newsroom.
This is Asian
It's 12 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 9:30 in New Delhi, and 11 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Rani Samtani. At this hour, at least 37 people killed after a tourist boat capsizes in Vietnam's Ha Long Bay. Inclement weather caused by approaching Typhoon Wipa blamed for the tragedy as mainland China braces for the powerful storm. 10 people have been killed and 9 reported missing in South Korea following days of heavy downpours, floods, and landslides. Thousands have been forced to evacuate their homes. And voting underway in Japan's upper house election, seen as a key test for Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Opinion polls suggest the ruling coalition could lose its majority in the chamber amid dissatisfaction over rising prices and other issues.
U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff. This is one of the big issues because this tariff can really push down Japan's economic growth. Now, regardless of the results of this upper house election, Minister of Economic Revitalization, Ryosei Akazawa,
investigation after the names of SAS soldiers were reportedly left online for a decade, despite repeated warning. It's left the defence
keep crossing, keep screen.
Who's going to take back our streets?
And amid growing fury over record sewage bills and rising bills, the government is pledging to halve pollution by 2030. But is this bold reform or just more proof that it's time to nationalise Britain's waterways?
Now, if you haven't booked your summer getaway yet, travel giants are slashing prices in a last-minute push to fill planes. We'll be telling you how to bag a week in the sun just in time for the school holidays.
Good morning. Alexander Usyk became the undisputed world boxing heavyweight champion for a second time after knocking out Britain's Daniel Dubois in front of a packed Wembley last night. Well, every action
throughout the morning.
There's more rain, showers, and perhaps thunderstorms on the cards for many of us over the next couple of days, but perhaps feeling a little less humid than it's felt recently. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
It's just on 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
And I'm Dawn Neeson, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Oh, now I'm torn whether to talk about everyone in London being the rudest Brits in the country.
Oh, right, okay.
Or should we talk about too much of a good thing? There's a French Lebanese restaurant who've elevated fish and chips.
How do you elevate fish and chips? You lift the plate up.
They've done something with a signature garlic sauce, and they've just made it 20 times more expensive. Clearly, I mean that'll be the thing.
Well, these two stories are right, okay? Because me and Alison are right. It was salt and rude, very rude. Salt and vinegar on your chips, and
Mushy peas, salt and vinegar.
Oh, you don't do gravy?
No.
Oh, don't Northerners do the gravy thing?
They do, some do, but no. I compulsory, is it? No, it's not compulsory. I do like mushy peas.
Mushy peas, yeah.
But yeah, it's salt and vinegar, lots of salt.
Okay.
Something like with Harbour. And he mistook mushy peas for guacamole.
It was guacamole.
Oh, right, okay. But why are Londoners rude, Stephen Dixon?
Well, according to this, Londoners.
Oh, Londoners.
These Londoners, they're the rudest Brits. They queue jump, interrupt, and they don't say please and thank you.
That's just not true. Who did they ask?
2,000 people. Folk in Bristol were rated the most polite. And London resident Chris said, if you don't barge your way into the front, you never get anywhere.
That's not true. I think most Londoners are lovely. They're very polite.
You walk down the street and say good morning to a Londoner and they nearly die.
Well, that's just you.
Well, you let them out. You let them out of the junction in the car. Look as if you've gone. Yeah.
I think it's very Londonist.
Do you?
Yeah. London gets really hard pressed at the moment. It's not great, but could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Also, I remember home late at night this evening. Arrived at 11 o'clock in the morning. So they helping me. Decided to help me back inside just as a favour.
Yeah.
And then you can't.
So, nothing. I have the main news this morning, and it's all about health tourism, which has apparently left the NHS with a £200 million black hole.
Oh, another. Right, years of
New feature been obtained by the Sunday Express revealed that foreign nationals have racked up huge treatment bills over the last 5 years, and they think about £110,000 is lost to this every single day.
Crisis an issue, but also immigration with the rise of a far-right populist party. Hong Kong is on its highest alert the Syrian says the fighting has stopped in the southern city of Sueda. Government troops were sent in to enforce a ceasefire between Bedouin tribes and members of the Druze community. The sectarian clashes broke out a week ago, drawing in both Syria's Islamist government and Israel.
Morning. Coming up on the show today, we're talking about the chaos and fighting, searching hopes of a ceasefire. By southern Syria, where calls by the president for a ceasefire are lost in the fighting between rival militias.
They were basically ambushed. We waited for them to move forward, and then as soon as lots of them were there, they got
calls for a £5 screening test for newborn babies to ensure early help for those hit by a crippling genetic condition.
Something like this could be prevented so early on, and it's not a kind of effect. It's a matter of
sewage pollution by water companies in half in the next 5 years. Police get on their bikes to target dangerous e-riders.
The four-shot lead today is found. The McElroy is still in contention at Royal Rush.
Good morning. Thanks for here on the breakfast.
These are us. That also been tens. Ukraine is offering to begin a new round of ceasefire talks with Russia next week. President Zelensky says the negotiations should be speeded up and ready his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin face to face. Previous negotiations between the two sides stalled in June. The US tech boss has planned after embracing
It marks a major breakthrough. The M23 rebel group and the DRC government ink a ceasefire agreement to halt fighting in the country's conflict-ravaged east. The deal signed in Doha Saturday commits both sides to a permanent ceasefire, including an end to hate speech and a ban on territory by force. The African Union has welcomed the agreement, with a major for peace and stability in eastern DRC and the wider Great Lakes region. The M23 launched a rapid offensive earlier this year, capturing key cities like Goma and Bukavu, killing thousands and displacing hundreds of thousands of civilians. Officials say the deal includes a roadmap for restoring government control of the region, along with a framework for future peace negotiations. Although front lines have remained mostly stable since February, sporadic clashes continue between M23 and pro-government militias. The ceasefire offers a rare hope in a region scarred by decades of conflict. Opposition figure Victoire Ingabire set to remain behind bars after a Kigali court denied her bail on Tuesday. Judges citing fears she would flee or interfere with an ongoing investigation. Ingabire is facing 6 charges, including forming or belonging to an illegal group and spreading hate speech aimed at turning international opinion against the government. Prosecutors say the evidence is strong enough to keep her in pre-trial detention. The case took the 2021 arrests of several of her supporters. Authorities allege they took part in an online training which shared small and unarmed. Victoire Ingabire is a long-standing critic of President Kagame. She's previously served time in prison and is one of the few opposition figures to remain politically active within Rwanda. Most others have been forced into exile. Her supporters call the charges politically motivated.
Somalia presence in West Africa completing its withdrawal from Senegal on Thursday after more than 6 decades. At a ceremony held in Dakar, French forces handed over Camp Jail and a nearby air facility to the Senegalese government. The move marks the end of 3 months pullout involving around 350 troops. France has maintained a military presence in Senegal since the country's independence in 1960. But under the new leadership, Senegal has taken a firmer stance on foreign troops.
Fans leave about satisfied after Morocco's 3-1 victory over Mali, securing a spot in the semi-finals of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. A joyful crowd turned out in large numbers to proudly celebrate the latest success of the Atlas Lionesses. Honestly, we're so happy. It was a great match. It really shows how much work has gone on behind the scenes. God willing, we want even more now. Some fans experienced the victory on deeper level, like this brother of one of the Moroccan players, visibly moved after the match.
Ils ont fait un très très bon match. Il y avait vraiment.
They played a really great match. There was so much intensity. I also want to give a shout out to my sister, Imen Al-Ghazouani, who made a strong performance even though she came from late in the second half.
En fin de seconde période.
Next up, the semi-finals where Morocco will face either Algeria or Ghana in what promises to be a high-stakes showdown for the Atlas Lioness, as the challenge is clear to find be qualifying for the 2027 World Cup in Brazil.
Don't miss your connection with Africa. With the Africa News app.
Al-Shabaab insurgents have seized the town of Tado in Somalia's central Hiran region. According to a military official, Tado is a key crossroads between larger urban centers. The town fell on Sunday after Al-Shabaab.
Tonight, chaos after a car plows into a crowd in Los Angeles. At least 30 people hurt, 7 critically, as police say a man intentionally rammed this car into a crowd outside a Hollywood nightclub. That crowd fighting back. The driver shot, as dramatic video shows bystanders dragging him from the vehicle. And just in, we've learned he was kicked out of the The storm system threatening millions. Tornado sirens blaring in Iowa as dangerous waters rise from Illinois to Virginia, where the storm is heading next in the summer of floods. The firestorm over Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump pushing for a court to release grand jury documents, but how much do they reveal as he sues her teller report? He sent Epstein a suggestive birthday card. Plus, what we're learning about 3 deputies killed in an explosion at a training facility and the emotional tribute. The engine on a Delta Airlines flight bursting into flames after cough, forcing it to make an emergency return. Bad Bunny's historic residency. Thousands of fans, millions of dollars for Puerto Rico as his music turns into a movement. News with Jose Diaz-Balart. Good evening.
I'm looking at Hollywood. Police are investigating whether this was a deliberate attack. All tonight, lashing out.
Willie James in Manhattan, the White House, as public pressure grows for the full release of the Epstein files. President Trump says it might not be enough to satisfy skeptics.
Well, I think you have a lot of people that think,
U.S. ambassador to Israel blasts Jewish settlers who target ancient Christian church.
it is an act of terror, and it's a crime.
Summer sizzle. Latest weather threat.
I'm meteorologist Andrew Gozak tracking triple-digit heat in the week ahead. I'll have your forecast.
New Coke, a big fan. Let's make it great again. I'm Alan Bauman in New York. Is cane sugar the real thing? How a change to Coke could impact not only the baseline, but possibly thousands of farm jobs. And later, masterpieces in sand. CBS's Itai Hot in San Francisco shows us a new wave artist turning beaches into works of art.
It's a huge, enormous canvas. It gets washed away. I can come back the next day and do another one.
This is the CBS Weekend News from New York with Jerry.
Tonight on PBS News Weekend, President Trump acknowledges that releasing all the Jeffrey Epstein transcripts may not satisfy critics, as his years-long friendship with the disgraced financier comes under scrutiny. Then, what major cuts at the world's premier cancer research institute may mean for the fight against the disease. And transgender U.S. service members fight to continue to serve despite the Trump administration banning them from the military.
I think what people truly care about is your ability to meet the standards and perform at your job. So long as you're doing those things, I don't think any of those kind of identity politics matter.
Thank you for watching Amish Shakil 5858. I am Amish Shakil. I hope you will visit again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.